Welcome to Undiet Your Coaching Podcast. I'm Stephanie Dodier, clinical nutritionist and creator of the Going to Beyond the Food method, and I'm on a mission to help all coaches undiet their life and their coaching business. Ready? Let's do this. Welcome back, my dear colleague. This is part 3 of a 3-part series on answering all the questions about our industry, the non-diet coaching broadly. And as you probably have seen or heard, should I rather say, in podcast 63 and 64, answered all aspects of our business because that's what we do in the non-diet mentorship program. We cover all the things related to creating a business and impacting the world in the anti-diet culture movement. And today is not going to be an exception to this. I'm going to answer a question that I see too often, which is not knowing what to talk about in a client session. And if you're having this question, that tells me you want to do right by your client. And it also tells me that you need to work with us because you don't have a coaching framework. The reason why you are at loss of what to talk about in your coaching session is because you don't have a process on how to inform your coaching session and a process to guide your client to liberate themselves from diet culture. It's going to be a long answer. It's about 15 minutes because we need to talk about that process. So I'm going to introduce you to the Undiet Coaching Protocol and what we do in session and the 3-step process that we use, which, by the way, that was the content of the Becoming Non-Diet Coach Week training where this 3-part Q&A series came from. And we do have an upcoming training event on December the 4th. This one's not going to be over 5 days. It's going to be one intense day. We're going to be together for 6.5 hours, and I'm going to deliver to you the process we use to get clients in our business, which is partly what we teach in the non-diet mentorship program. We're also in this part 3 going to talk about how to ethically handle objections. And once you hear the answer of part 1, which is not knowing what to talk about, then handling objection becomes so easy because an objection is an opportunity for coaching. That's how we ethically handle objection is we use our coaching framework. So this is a very juicy, value-packed episode. We produced a reel, just a side note here. My social media manager made a reel about, she titled it, Knocking Your Socks Off. That's an intention I have in all my training program is my intention is to knock the socks off my student. And like I have to tell you that this 3-part Q&A series is like worth thousands of dollars. And the $47 event that the student attended, somebody said in a Q&A session that they got thousands of dollars worth of it for $47. So soak in all that knowledge. It's worth thousands of dollars. If you implement everything that I've taught you over the last 2 Q&A and today, you're going to dramatically change yourself as a person and as a coach and your business in 2023, which we're at the end of 2022 right now, but 2023 is going to be your year where you're going to become a professional coach. So enjoy, take a lot of notes, coach yourself to implement everything you're learning, and together we are going to transform the life of thousands of people in 2023. Enjoy. So welcome in to our last bonus Q&A session for the 5-day Becoming a Non-Diet Coach training. I have a few questions that were left from day 1, day 2, and day 3. If there's nobody live, with me right now running coaching, I'm going to take this opportunity to then answer our questions that were left from those days. So I'm going to start with what appears to be a very simple question. It's about coaching, but it's going to allow me to talk about something really important. So the question was, I don't know what to talk about in each one of my sessions with my client. I will assume this is about working with my client. So I'm going to start by outlining what I believe to be an essential, a required quality when it comes to being a coach. And I'm going to obviously talk about it in our industry, the non-diet approach to living. But I want to say that I have been a coach in different industry, and the people who are the most successful are those that have this quality. Leadership. As a coach, you have to be a leader. A leader is not someone that tells other people what to do. A leader is someone that lead, that influence people to move towards one direction. In the case of a coach in the non-diet space, you lead your client. So you have to be the leader in the relationship with your client. In the same way that I'm the leader of this group coaching program that we're doing for 5 days. Someone has to lead the way. Leading the way doesn't mean being authoritarian, telling people what to do, my way or the highway. But it does require from you knowing where you're going. And that's what a leader is. Specifically in the relationship between coach and client, you put out your compelling offer into the world that you will learn with us in the non-diet mentorship program. You put out your compelling offer. It's an offer that is compelling for you to sell. It aligns with your value. You're selling it from a place of alignment as well. You're telling your client you have a solution for their problem. Your client, your future client, raises a hand and says, I have this problem. You have this solution for me. We're a match. I'm going to pay you and you're going to help me solve my problem. You know where you're going, or at least you should, right? You should know where you need to lead your client, what steps your client needs to take, what things your client needs to do in order to solve the problem. Otherwise, how can you help your client? So if you know what step to take, which road to take, then you need to lead your client in that direction, right? You know that step number 1 has to be this, step number 2 has to be this, step number 3, step number 4, step number 5. So you need to lead your client to step number 1 and then to 2, to 3, to 4. You have to be the leader. You have to be the GPS. You have to be the Google map, right? It's very similar to Google Map, right? You put your destination, your client puts his destination into your program. It's like, I want to get there. Google Map will lead the way, right? It will tell you turn left, turn right. Well, it's the same thing for you. Turn left, turn right. You got to do this, you got to do this next. And then you have your basket of coaching tools as your client takes the left or the right and they're struggling with feeling not good enough. Okay, I'm going to pull my belief work tool and I'm going to help my client with their belief in themselves. Okay, now we're going to turn left. Oh, my client is overwhelmed with emotion. I'm going to pull out my tool of riding the wave and I'm going to help my client process their emotion. Then they need to stop policing the food because perhaps you're working on binging, right? You need to explain to your client what food police is, and That's a stop in the road. You need to lead your client there. So if you are telling me, I don't know what to talk about for each session, I have to wonder if you know where you're going, if you know how to get there. Because if you know how to get to wherever you're solving your client's problem, you should know what to talk about in your session, because that's your mandate. Your mandate is to take your client through the 10 principle of intuitive eating, the 5 principle of body neutrality, and to get them to destination. So you have to hold the map and guide your client towards every step. And you have to do that in a leadership way, not in telling them what they need to do. And if they don't go there, they're a bad person. You have to encourage them, to support them, to inspire them, to help them solve what's in the way of them getting to the next step. So when you say, I don't know what to talk about in each session, then there's a lack of leadership. You really need to look at yourself and ask yourself 3 questions. Have I established with my client when they started to work with me, when they signed up to work with me, where we're going, what's the destination, what's point B, what's problem they want to be solved, and me as a coach, do I know how to get there? Do I know how to get my client there? Do I have a process? I just want to remind everybody, those processes in the case of the non-diet approach are the process of intuitive eating. If you want to resolve eating problematic, it's the 10 step or the 10 principle of intuitive eating. If you want to work in helping your client accept their body, what I teach inside of the non-diet mentorship are the 5 step of body neutrality. You may have your own process. If you're talking about health, then it's the principle of health at every size. That is superseded by a coaching process. In our case, in the non-diet mentorship program, is the Undiet Your Coaching protocol. So you have to have these tools in your toolbox and then get your client to destination. And that should give you more than enough of what to talk about in a session with your client. Okay, that was our first question. I think this was from earlier on Tuesday. Let me go to a business question. We talked about money. I'm going to skip that one here. We talked about payment plan. Okay, I want to talk about objection. Okay, because this person talks about how, or she wants to know how to ethically get through objection in a consultation. So the first place I want to get started with you, and for anyone that has a fear of objection, I want you to use your Undiet coaching protocol process. And I want you to place objection, or the one particular objection, in the neutral circumstance. So the words of your client during the consultation becomes the neutral circumstance. So when a client says, oh, I don't have money, oh, it's too expensive, because that's typically the number one objection people struggle with, is money, right? The way you interpret your client's words, in this case, what is known as an objection, the interpretation of that, of these words, is entirely up to you. Your thoughts about your client's word in reply to a question you ask them in the consultation, like, so do you want to work with me? And they say, no, blah, blah, blah. The no, blah, blah, blah is a neutral circumstance of your coaching. And then so when you hear these words, your brain, based on your past experience, based on your belief system, based on the way you were raised, will have an opinion on these words. And I want you guys to all sit with that, is that the way that you personally react to an objection will be different than me, and it will be different than the next person to you, because we don't have all the same past experience, the same education, and the same belief. So there's not one way to get through objection. And I totally realize that the way that I'm talking about this vastly differ from most business coaching program. Because most business coaching program will give you literally a script on how to do a consultation and one way of answering each objection. And to me, that's fine. That's their way of doing business. But to me, it just doesn't align with how I understand human behavior and how I understand how the brain creates thoughts and how I want to lead my client. So whatever objection you're struggling with, I want you to first start looking at your thoughts on this objection and look as to why you're having these thoughts. And when you're having these thoughts, how does that make you feel? Right? The way you feel, the emotion that's triggered by your opinion on your client's or your future client's objection will then dictate the quality of your action. So for an example, if your reaction to your client saying, oh, that's too expensive, is to take that personally, your brain is like, oh, she thinks I'm not worth the money. I, as a person, I'm not worth her spending the money. You're personalizing her word about your worth. Then probably your emotion will be anger, shame, and then you will act. You will have the reaction of arguing with her as to why your program and you as a coach are worth the money. You're going to get what we call defensive reaction. You're going to get into an argument because you're taking it personally. Where me, for example, somebody tells me I don't have the money, it's too expensive, because I've done the personal work, which, by the way, that's the work I'm inviting you to do inside the non-diet mentorship, that personal work. I have done that work to completely detaching me from the value of my program, from the value of my business. Like I'm entirely 100% connected to my worth as a human being. And the price of my program is an entirely different thing. So if somebody tells me your program's too expensive, I'm going to get curious. I'm going to say, oh, why do you think that is? Like I'm going to have the emotional space to be able to have a conversation about it because I'm not making it about me. And that's how I'm encouraging you to address objection in your consultation, is first doing the work of separating, and two, just being curious. Tell me more. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is this is too expensive? And again, each one of your clients on consultation have a different story, have a different past experience, belief system, upbringing. The reason why they find something to be too expensive will differ from person to person to person. Your job is to coach them through that. A consultation is simply a coaching session, right? Your client says, oh, that's too expensive. Coach them on that. Use the on-diet coaching protocol. Remember, I said it applies to everything. Be a coach, follow your job description as a coach, show up to the words of your client completely neutral and coach them. Tell me more. You want to go and discover why they're thinking it's too much money, right? When they think that, how does that make them feel? And then obviously what they're thinking, they're feeling, their reaction, their action is telling you, oh, it's too expensive. Coach them on that. Another way I want you to think about objection, and not just money, any kind of objection, is that you, as the marketer, have not been proficient enough at explaining the value, the component, the aspect of your offer yet. So the way that we teach about launching a business or launching a new program in the non-diet mentorship is by doing consultation. Even if you've been in business for 5 years and you're launching a new program, My advice to you is to do consultation, because you want to have the interaction one-on-one with people to get really, really, really good at explaining the feature, the value of your program, so you can then in the future automate the process. And probably the best example of this is the non-diet mentorship program. It is the 7th cohort, so I have launched this program 7 times over 3.5 years. The first 4 times that I've launched this program, so for 2 years straight, I did one-on-one consultation. Anybody interested in the non-diet mentorship program, we're booking a 45-minute consultation with me, and we got into Zoom, and I asked question, they asked me question, and I got to understand how to communicate the value, the various elements of my program very efficiently. With every single consultation, I adjusted the sales page, I adjusted my marketing. With every no, because you're going to get a ton of no, right? With every no to a consultation, I adjusted. With every yes, I re-emphasized certain aspects because they were yes. And then when I would ask them, why did you say yes? Then I would know this part of my marketing was working well. And when I add a no, and the no was about me not being clear on my marketing, I would adjust. So the first 4 rounds, I did consultation, and then I moved in, I think for cohort number 5, and 6, I moved into group consultation. I did open house, where I would invite anybody that was interested into a program into a group Zoom session, and I would answer questions in a group format. And now on the 7th round, I am not doing any consultation at all. I'm not doing any group consultation because my program is really, really clear. If people have questions, they can absolutely send an email and we will answer all of their questions. But thus far, already in less than 12 hours, we've already received the application. People are applying, they're making their payment, they're starting the program, and there has been no group consultation or consultation. But I've run it 7 times. I just got better and better and better. I allowed myself the space to learn and to get better. So that would be my 2 angle when it comes to objection that I would recommend for you to do. So number 1, use your coaching protocol on how you're engaging. And then 2, do a shitload of consultation and just get really good at them. Okay, here's our last question about coaching. I get stuck coaching my client where their family members, their loved one, isn't supporting them. How to do this kind of coaching? Okay, so you have a client in front of you. They want to accept their body. They stopped dieting. They've gained weight, and they hire you to help them accept their body. And so you're coaching them through body acceptance. Whatever process you have, if you come to work with us, you're going to have your body neutrality process. You're working with them, and all of a sudden they come to a session and they have a lot of emotion about their partner telling them that they should go back on a diet. How do you coach that? You've got your coaching process, right? Your toolbox, pull your on-diet coaching protocol, which you should know by heart because you're using it on yourself every day, right? So your client comes to the coaching session and they heard their partner say some words. Example, you should lose some weight. That becomes your neutral circumstance. Words from partner. Client, tell me what happened in your brain when you heard your partner say these things. And that becomes the T line of your coaching model. You want to find what your client's opinion is of their partner saying these words. Tell me when you thought, oh my God, he doesn't like me. Let's imagine this partner is a man. He doesn't like me anymore, or he will reject me, or he will leave me. These are all things I heard in the past. He won't want to have sex with me anymore. Right? This is the thoughts of your client. When you think these thoughts, how do you feel? Shame, disgust, feel seen, right? Often the words of our partner is the words we think in secret about ourselves. When we don't know how to have our own back, our most secret thoughts is what actually we hear from our partner. Our partner is reflecting to us our own thoughts. So very often when we hear these words from our partner and you coach deeply with your client, you'll figure out they have the same opinion as their partner, right? They don't want to have sex themselves because they feel ashamed of their body. So do the first step of Undiet Coaching Protocol. Show your client why they're having this particular experience about their partner's words. It's not the words of their partner that's causing their emotional overwhelm. It's their own opinion of their partner's words. Make it really clear to them. Then they have to take responsibility, right? Coaching is fundamentally about us taking responsibility for our own reality, our own life. Does your client understand if they want to change how they're experiencing these words, they're going to have to change the way they think about their partner saying these things? And then you step into step number 3 of the coaching protocol, helping them think differently. And one of the fundamental belief that we need to help our client with when it comes to body image is our own opinion of ourselves. And that's what we teach you inside of body neutrality is you need to build your own opinion of yourself. And this is coming from diet culture. This is coming from patriarchy, socializing women that what matters in life is other people's opinion of us. We are literally indoctrinated from as young as we can understand someone else, like 5 or 6 years old. We are indoctrinated that as a woman, what matters is us meeting other people's expectation of us, the opinion of other people of us. And in this case, the other opinion of us is that you are a woman, therefore you should be beautiful and thin, and you should shut up. Not have any opinion, not be disturbing, just do what society wants you to do and shut up and be beautiful. So it's no surprise that if your client is a person identified as a woman, that's her belief about herself. She has no opinion of herself because her entire life she has been seeking her self-worth or opinion of herself into other people. So your job with her, with your client, is to help her build her own opinion of herself so she no longer needs her partner opinion. And when that shift happens, this is when you will have a woman who will say to her partner, who the fuck do you think you are to tell me these things? This is my body. You're not going to tell me to lose weight. And the nature of the relationship will switch because the woman will stand up for herself. She will have a high opinion of herself. And as soon as her partner is trying to tell her what to do, this woman will stand up for herself. And then the dynamic of the relationship will change by itself just because the woman no longer needs the opinion of her partner. So that's how you deal with this. You don't deal with this by trying to control the family member, the partner. You're solely focused on your client and helping them see that their interpretation of their partner's word is theirs, and that they can change the way they're viewing their partner's words by creating their own opinion of themselves. Ready to shed diet culture from your practice and help more clients do the same? Awesome. We've got 3 resources to get you started. Simply go to stephaniedodier.com/pro series, all in one word, and access our 3 free training classes that are currently available. We also have a free PDF guide to intuitive eating, an article about the non-diet approach. We also offer a variety of paid programs throughout the year to support you in your journey to undiet your coaching practice. Join us at stephaniedodier.com/pro series, and I'll see you on the other side.